Hi there, it's David Bartholomew from Griffin Alliance. I just wanted to talk you through the photo booth so that you can see what's involved. There's quite a few things here set up and I just want to walk you through each of them. So this is what a photo booth might look like when it's completely set up and ready to go. So the key elements are, first and foremost, a booth which takes photos. Secondly, a props table with lots of fun things for people to put on their heads and so forth. Very importantly, a clear backdrop. So here we've got, it's just a pull down screen, but it could also be, there's a separate video about the backdrop kit that we provide you with, so you can use a backdrop from there, or you can find a feature in the venue. So my preference, the thing that I love, is to find a really cool wall that has a feature, maybe brickwork or woodwork, or a fireplace or something like that, and put it in front of that because that's actually reflective of the real event. So you've got three different options there with the backdrop. And the final thing is light. So lots and lots of light. So making sure you're getting as much light on the subject as possible. Basically, the more light that you get on the subject, the better the quality of the photos. So it's really interesting, you've got all this technical gear, but the thing that in the end makes the biggest difference to the quality, as long as you've got a good backdrop, is the amount of light that you can get on the subject. So it's really worth looking at the venue and seeing where the good light is and trying to get that involved with what you're doing. Also, if you do need extra light, we do have a supplementary lighting kit, which is a little light that you can set up and put to the side here, which will then just give extra side lighting. So that is in the kit if you need it. But generally, this has got lights on the front here, and if you get some just ambient venue light, that's usually quite enough to get a good result. So I now want to talk you through some of the basic features, and then I'll talk you through the more advanced features on the unit itself. So I'm just going to grab the phone and take you around and show you what we've got here. So first of all, let me spin you all around. There we go. Is the props table. So there's nothing too complex here, except to note that I've laid things out so people can see a selection of what they've got. There's glasses and there's hats and there's wigs and all sorts of things. There's feather boas. It's basically everything that a drag queen might love. So it's just designed to make things fun for people to dress up and feel like they want to be a bit flamboyant. Also, what you see here, this is quite important. This is just a basic fold-out table that you see with the kit. And then it's got this thing called a scrim put over it, which makes it look super nice and presentable. And also underneath there, that's the containers. So if you've got any spare stuff that you want to hide away, there's plenty of room under the table. So props table, check. Now we're looking at the backdrop now. As you can see, this is just a blind. But it provides a nice, clear, flat white surface. Equally, you can have a look at the backdrop kit that we give you, which has got a few different backdrops in there that you can choose from as well. Or other options are, and even in this room, there's other options. So, a cool picture for a background might be cool. And also a mirror here you could do on an angle as well. So you've got a few different options for cool backdrops within this room, which might be more reflective of the event itself. And finally, you can see, if I look up onto the roof, there's quite a bit of light in this room, and that really helps with the photo quality. And the thing that's most working against this room is that the backdrop is actually getting ambient light from outside, which is going to shadow the faces. So that's why we've got so much bright light in here, is to counterbalance the light that's coming in from outside. So I'm hoping that covers all of the stuff which is not the booth. And the next thing I want to talk about is the booth. So the first thing you need to do is get power to the booth, which is quite straightforward. Inside the booth, you'll find an IEC lead, and also you can see over there an extension lead. So there's an IEC attachment on the back of the booth. That's the only plug-in that's required externally for the booth. And I'll just show you inside just quickly to show you what's in here. You'll find a keyboard down here, which you won't generally need to use, but it's a USB keyboard. And then the only other thing in here is the printer. So the printer's held in with straps and it fits on little retainers here, which keeps it quite still. If you need to take it out to change a cartridge or anything, then all you need to do is loosen off the straps like this and then just move it slightly off its housing and across so it can fold open. Then you can push the straps there and access in there to do anything you want to with the printer. The print cartridge is here and the ink cartridge is here. There's a separate video if you want to see how to change the cartridge. And that's on the same Griffin Alliance webpage, so Griffin Alliance YouTube page. So there you've got the printer, and then we can close that up because that's all that's really in there that we really need to worry about. Now, the only other thing that you'll find inside here is you'll find 2 leads. There'll be a power lead, once again an IEC, and also you'll find a signal lead, which is a USB. Those signal leads need to run up through this pole. So you pull them up through here and then feed them through the pole and then stick the pole in at the top and then feed them out here because they've got to plug in up here. So the 2 leads, the IEC lead is here. It just plugs into power on the back of here and that powers up the whole unit. And then you've got a signal lead which plugs in here into the computer. It can plug into any USB, so you can just plug it in there. So that's the only plugins that you have to worry about. There's 2 lights here. If they're not switched on, there's just 2 power leads, and then you can switch them on here. There's a switch, so you can switch them on and off. But generally, you can just leave those switched on, and they should be switched on when you start the unit. So all that you need to do here is make sure that power is plugged in at the bottom here, and then that will power the whole unit up. Run the 2 leads up into here, and then plug the USB in and the IEC in, and then you'll have power to the whole unit. And then, if you look around on the side here, there is a single power button. Just turn that on. So it really is quite a simple setup. Power in, power and signal up to the top, and then switch it on. The other thing that you have in here is a mouse, which is plugged in by USB. So if you need to click anything on the screen, you can put that mouse down here and click on the screen. So this booth is already set up and ready to go. So I'll now press go. You can see here, it says press the start button to take full photos. So, let me put on some props. Here we go. Here we go. Look at this. Rocking the party. Boom. And so it's going to take 4 photos. And the final one. And what you'll see down here is where the photos come out. So that's the printer feeding out, and you can hear it warming up now. So the photos will pop out there, and then that's the entire system ready to go. Now, when you've finished running the unit and you want to finish off, all you need to do to shut this system down is simply press the power button, just hold it for a second, and it will shut down all of the power. Then just close the back of the box. And then take the power out here. That's all you need to do to power down the system. There's nothing complicated about it. And then if you want to pack up the system, all that you need to do is open up the back here, pull out the USB, pull out the IEC, and then pull off the top of the box. And then you can just drop the leads back down into the bottom there. And in the meantime, here are our strips, and that's our photo booth ready to go. So I hope that gives you some insight into how it all works. Probably the most complicated thing really about this is just getting the leads from the bottom to the top of the unit. So I'll just go through it again. Very simple to get power to the unit, just plug it in here. But then in the bottom of the unit here, there's 2 leads. You want to feed them up through here, and then they pop out here, and you plug the power into the IEC and the USB into the computer, and then switch the computer on. And then if you want to start the booth up, then you use the mouse. So that's pretty much the unit. I hope that's useful for you. Probably the only other thing I might think of is to get to this screen, when you first start it up, there'll be a start screen. And in the middle, it just says photo booth. Just double click on that with the mouse, and this will all start up automatically. So very, very simple. I hope that's helpful. If there's anything that is out of the ordinary that you want to ask about, then let me know, because this is just the first video, and then based on your feedback, I'll make another video to update and make it clearer. Hope that's helpful, and yeah, let me know what I can do to make this video more useful for you.